One. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. We are reading Conversations with the Awakener. That is the first book, and we are on page number 47. The chapter is The Signs, My Signposts. Go ahead.
I am deeply grateful to you for the signs you often give me in my journey to you. It does not seem logical to some people that I should be guided in this way. Yet, I do not feel that this is all madness. Your signs speak so clearly to my heart that I wonder why others should find my fondness for them bewildering. Of course, I would not argue with anyone about this or attempt to persuade them, but I feel they may be shielding their rationality with blinders. What a humor! What an irony of your compassionate presence.
Many of us are so accustomed to Baba's signs. We all know, okay, if this is happening, then that should be the meaning. If that is happening, if this should be the meaning. And that is the meaning of signs. And I've known of people personally, so many of them, where they feel Baba's presence because of the signs. And they become the signpost. The signpost would mean, a direction of what you are supposed to take, or what direction you are supposed to go or lead yourself into. Now, I'm talking about my personal viewpoints. It is perfectly okay to ask for signs, and it is perfectly okay to go by the signpost. But Baba himself has said at several times, that many a times you are yourself the creator of these signs. Baba is even unaware of it. You want to go in a certain direction. Yeah, he manifests himself the way we want him to manifest, and then we proceed in that direction. So here the author is saying that I wonder why people take me to be a foolish person, and why people take me to be a slave of these signs and signposts, but somehow or the other I am okay with that. That's what he's saying, that people are actually, their rationality here, the word their rationality, they are putting blinkers by not accepting that this is one of the ways in which the Lord can communicate with you.
Signs in themselves are not dependent on the things or events which they use as their media. You use the outward aspect of a happening to gracefully unfold your design to me. Signs act as signposts for me to make decisions with a clear conscience, devoid of doubts. They help me to clarify foggy situations, to find myself in your sunshine. I am beholden to you for this.
Very beautiful. Many people see, basically signs are independent. It can make use of anything. You may just switch on a television and something, you get a message which is what you've been already thinking about. Or you could just read a newspaper, or you are walking and see a signpost, a placard or whatever, and that gives you the answer to what you've been thinking. So signs are absolutely not attached to any medium through which they can come across to you. But in all this again, I'm taking my personal viewpoint, I'm expressing my personal viewpoint. We need to be absolutely honest about it, because many a times, and I've always joked, and of course I'll say it again, many a times, people like to have the answers which they have in their mind. They're not honest about it. I would be digressing a little bit, but still, since we are on the signs and signposts, I will give you 2 or 3 episodes, let's put it that way. We all know, or most of us know, Dina Talati. Dina Talati was the mother-in-law of our present chairman, Sridhar Kelkar. Naval Talati and Dina Talati were the parents, and Parviz was the daughter. Of course, Khushru was another brother. Parviz is brother, and Sridhar married Parviz. So that's the whole setup. Yeah. Okay. What was the name? They had another sister, Soumya tells me, but I don't know the name. Anyway, in short, when Sridhar came to our center many years back, he narrated one incident because Dina Talati was very forthright. She would not mince words, so to speak. And Baba, during a certain phase of his ministry, would not be easily available, will not be easily contactable. And before that, Baba wanted each and every person to write to him, to send a postcard, to do telegram. At those days, they were telegrams, send the telegram on so many things about their own personal life. And Baba would give them the direction, guidance, what is to be done, what is not to be done. And then Baba was away for a very long period of time, and Dina was a little, upset about it. Now, how are we supposed to take the decision? How do we know? Because we have become so dependent on you that we don't know whether we should go here or go here, do this or do that. And that was the time Baba explained to Dina Talati. And Dina must have told to Parviz and Sridhar, Parviz and Stroke or Sridhar. And this is what Sridhar tells at the center, Bombay Center. He said that Baba told Dina that whenever you are in a dilemma as to what am I supposed to do, this decision or that decision, first step, be very honest. Keep your mind blank. Do not have any preconceived notion as to what should be Baba's answer. Then put your right hand over your heart region, blank mind, and face Baba's photograph or Baba's whatever image is there, and ask out loud from within, Baba, this is the situation, what should I do? And Baba said, the very first impulse that you get in your heart, that is what I would want you to do. And you tag that line, then you toe that line, you follow that principle. But again, in this, Baba has very expressly said, one has to be very honest, because most of us are not. Now, that was first episode I wanted to narrate. The second episode is, I have seen people coming to the center, the Bombay Center, and putting those chits, yes and no, whatever it may be. Supposing I love somebody, should I marry her or should I not marry her? Yes and no. And in my heart, it is a yes, obviously. I'm putting it and I'm praying to Baba, I want an answer. What do you wish? What is your wish? What is your will, etc., etc. And you pick up a no. And when you pick up a no, you will tell Baba, okay, I accept this. But let us do 3 times so that I will go by 2 out of 3, like that. What is coming? So now supposing the second one comes again is yes. So now the third time you're picking, again it comes no. So then what you tell Baba, no Baba, let's do one thing. I will put it 5 times. So 3 out of 5, now I should know. And what I'm trying to convey is we are being dishonest. Then it won't work. Then it may not work. I won't say it won't work. Anything can work, anything may not work. That was the second thing I wanted to share. And the third thing, I've shared all this before on this forum. The third thing is that there was a young college-going boy who would every single day go to what we used to call matinee show. Matinee show means it's in the afternoon time, where sometimes the tickets are also low price and there's no crowd. There's no crowd at all. You can easily get the ticket. So one of his friends asked him, that how is it that you're going every day to the film and all that? He said, what can I do? It is God's will. What do you mean God's will? Yeah, it is God's will that I should go, and therefore I'm going. What do you mean by God's will? How do you know what is God's will? So he said, I simply do one thing. Obviously he bunks college. He bunks college, comes out, and then toss a coin. He would toss a coin. And then he would say, kings or heads, you call it. Heads I go, and tails I don't go. But then the friend asked, but do you mean to say you get heads every time? Then the boy said, no, sometimes I need to flick it more than once. So in other words, you are already determined that you want to go, and you keep on flicking till you get heads. And when you get head, oh, Baba wants me to go, or God wants me to go. And then you go and attend the movie theater. So that is not what is expected here. Balnatuji says that it is a very personal, private, secret, sacred bond between you and your beloved Lord. You see, and it is only through that cultivating that kind of closeness with Baba, then obviously he would automatically speak within you, to you, show you the signs, and then you can use them as signposts for moving ahead in life. But for all that, very important, honesty and connectivity, your closeness and connectivity with the Lord. It should not be that you thought that you want to do a certain thing and you do that certain thing and then you say that oh, I'm suffering so much, I'm going through so much problem. Why do you want to crib about it? If you think that that was Baba's wish, then also think that it is Baba's wish that you should go through this suffering. It is good for you. It's a cleansing process. So it's a very, very tricky thing. One more episode I am reminded of, which is very profound. There was one gentleman who wanted to marry her daughter with his daughter, sorry, his daughter with somebody. Thank you. With somebody. And the proposal was asked, Baba was asked. And Baba made a little, face, not good, that kind of thing. So then the person started explaining to Baba how good that man is in terms of his education, in terms of his capacity to earn money, in terms of his social status, family name, and all that. And it has always been the case that once Baba said the first thing I say you should do, then if you put a little additional information to Baba, he being personification of knowledge, we are giving him the knowledge that this is the thing. Then Baba would immediately twist his viewpoint and, oh, is that so? Oh, very nice. Very nice. So then the marriage took place. And after a few years, this is Baba's sign, after a few years, the vessels started, making noise. So then after a couple of years, they again went to Baba. And Baba is listening, and then the gentleman, that means the father of the bride, the daughter, he said, but Baba, you approved. The moment that gentleman said the word approved, Baba immediately and very sternly snapped. I did not approve. I allowed. I feel it's a very, very, very profound difference between having the approval of Baba and Baba allowing us to do what we want to do, although it may not have Baba's approval, but he allows, So I think it would be a world of difference. So we need to be very, 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 what should I say, sensitive to Baba's wish and Baba's happiness and Baba's joy, because this is my personal feeling again, that I feel that at least I do, many of us are in that zone of Baba allowing us. He may not approve, but he is allowing us, So we should try to graduate ourselves from allowing to approval. All right, go ahead.
When I happen to mention this to others, I have at times noticed sarcastic or indulgent smiles. Their better judgment had closed the windows to your wonder and sense of humor. In fact, signs cannot be predicted through any technique. They are not governed by any scientific laws. A sign that comes as a result of expectation is either a product of auto-suggestion or an outcome of mental conditioning. These are not real signs, for real signs are always unpredictable. They happen now and then.
So here also Baba, in a sense, is cautioning us. It says that signs cannot be predicted through any technique. They are not governed by any scientific laws. A sign that comes as a result of expectation, I repeat, a sign that comes as a result of expectation is either a product of auto-suggestion, because when you are thinking deeply about certain things, it will definitely manifest itself in our arena of consciousness. It is a law. That what was that? What was that? Secret. The Secret was some novel, some film, and all. A book. I have not read anything. But people say that when you repeat too many things, too many times a similar, whatever one thing, then that manifests. So obviously it manifests. So we won't go into the law of manifestation, why it manifests, but here it says that if it is a result, if the signs are a result of expectation, it is either a product of auto-suggestion or an outcome of mental conditioning. You conditioned your mind in such a way that obviously you will see that sign. These are not real signs, for real signs are always unpredictable. They happen now and then.
Each of your signs is like a splendid sunrise of a new day, carrying a fresh message and a beauty all its own. Signs do not repeat themselves in a precise manner, although a remote semblance is possible. But the quality and elegance will be different each time.
That means they are not repetitive. The signs are not repetitive, but they are very close to being repetitive. And it has a wide arena in which Baba can give us signs of his presence, and also we can use those signs as our signpost. Signpost would mean direction where he would want us to lead, or where he would want to lead us.
While criticizing me, some clever people refer to signs as crutches meant only for weaklings in their journey to you. In a way, they are right. In a way, they are not. Poor, strong souls. As long as one feels confident about one's trust in you, why should others condemn the signs? In their intellectual pride, they do not know the sublimity of helplessness or the profundity of depending upon you and you alone. That's why they call them crutches. Would that they come to know one day what a benediction this reliance on you is.
So here the author Balnatuji is emphasizing on reliance upon the Lord. When we say reliance, it does not mean necessarily that we stop doing what we are expected to do. But reliance also would mean, in my understanding, to have a very intimate, close connection with the Lord in a manner that we open up all the pathways for Him to communicate to us and with us, and so that we can use that power of inner communication for for our own betterment, for moving further and further towards the Lord, towards the goal, towards the source. So here many people condemn and they say that this is a crutch. But it may be a crutch, he says, but they have no idea of the sublimity, of the beauty, of the profundity of having that connection and depending upon the Lord and depending upon Him for our step by step walking towards the truth or towards the goal.
May those who are confident in their intelligence and proud of their self-reliance go their own way in their journey to the truth, which is you, taking long strides and even running as fast as they can. They must exert themselves in this way because they regard you as the goal to be attained in some distant future. I cannot comment on this except to say that we who are poor in spirit regard you not as a goal, but not only as the goal, but also as the road leading to you, the ever-present one.
In other words, we must all consider ourselves so fortunate, like how Jesus said, I am the way and the goal. That only Jesus can say, not any other masters, not other saints or sadhus or anybody else, Mahatmas, Mahapurushas. They cannot say that because they may be the way, but they are not the goal. So in the same way as Jesus said, Baba is not just the goal, but he is also the way. And once we have entrusted our entire being to his care, to him, then obviously, every step of the way, we are enjoying the journey. We are not just waiting to reach the goal, because for us, every step is the goal. Because finally, Baba himself is the way and the goal. So he says that when people struggle, people do a lot of penance, people do a lot of karma kand and stuff like that, austerities, but they are struggling. They are jogging, they are running, they are getting tired. But for us, it's a very smooth flowing thing because we have entrusted our entire being to the Lord. I remember an instance, and I've narrated this before again. Baba and a few Mandli, they were roaming around some religious places. I don't know the place, maybe Badrinath, Kedarnath, and all those Banaras, Kashi, and where they came across so many sadhus who were deep into penance. Somebody, like sleeping on a bed of iron nails, and somebody, standing on one feet, and somebody rolling on the ground to go from one place to other. And money, Baba's sister Money told Baba, that Baba, just imagine. I mean, they are doing so much. They are really going through so much of pain and suffering to reach you. Whereas we are in that sense comparatively so much comfortable. We are so much at ease and at peace. And that is when Baba said, that you all have done all these things. And that is why you have me in this incarnation. So again, there are people who would like to go the hard way. There are people who would like to go the Baba way, which is the most, as I always say, safe, secured, quick, and what should I say? Easy. I would not, easy in the sense it's not easy as easy, but it may be like Iraj would say, life was not easy, but it was joyful. Means in spite of going through difficulties and problems and pain, there was a certain element of joy in that pain. And I remember once Adi K. Irani, Adi Kaga, Adi Senior, asking Baba when in one of the ghazals, Baba was quoting about something to do with pain and going through difficult times and pain. What was the new life? There's a line I don't remember now. That's when Baba explained, example, a very gross example, that when you got some hurt and you feel like itching, and when you are scratching, there is a certain amount of pain over there, obviously, because the wound has become very raw. So when you are scratching it, it is becoming still raw. It might even bleed. But in all this scratching and itching, there is a certain element of joy in there. When you are scratching, that's a mixture of going through the difficult times with Baba and also having a certain amount of tranquility, a certain amount of equanimity, a certain amount of joy, knowing that Baba is with us whatever we are going through.
In fact, science cannot be predicted through. Oh, sorry, I'm finished.
Done.
Yeah.
All this is done. You've done this.
As long as
you've done it, Maja. Yeah.
May those who I pray you not to create any attachment to me, to your signs. Yet, how can I deny that I love them? Please don't withhold them from me.
So this is another trap, that we get attached to the signs. This had happened to some of the Mandli members, the early Mandli members, who had some gift of occult powers, occultism, And when that was stopped, they felt that they have now, this Baba has distanced himself from them, or Baba is unhappy with them, and therefore they are not getting those signs and experiences. And that is when Baba had explained that when during that period of time, when there was a need for you to go through this, it was given. Now we have already surpassed that place. You don't need them. You are so strongly anchored in me that there is no need for you to have those experiences. So many of us I do not know. Maybe having some experiences at some point in time, and then it just vanishes. So one should never feel that, oh, Baba has become sad with us, or Baba is angry with us, or whatever it is, or he loves us less. Nothing of that sort. It is a passing phase. Everything is a passing show, a passing phase. And therefore, here the author says that help me that I am not attached to them.
Please, this poem.
Hmm.
However fast the strong may run, to them you become like a distant horizon. For those who go by signs and walk on crutches, you become a midday sun. May I bask in the sunshine of your presence. May you shower your signs on me. Let the wise laugh and criticize me, for they have not tasted this rare wine. Perhaps these scenes are such signs sometimes, perhaps these scenes and such signs sometimes give you a good laugh.
All right. I don't think this requires any explanation. Anything to ask, anything to share, anything to contribute? Good. So now we go on to the next one. I hope we are all, at least I am enjoying, we both are enjoying, and I hope you all are also enjoying, because it is very down to earth feelings and emotions which all of us go through, and what, according to the awakener of the age, Meher Baba, what has he got to say to us to help us, to pull us out of that rut?
Wipe off the images. At dusk, I was sitting alone in a far off place on a secluded rock in a riverbed. After satisfying myself that no one was around, I began playing on my flute. Being a novice, the notes were quite discordant, yet I felt happy and at ease with myself. A little later, as I put the flute aside to gaze at the evening sun lowering on the distant hill, I heard someone say, "Why did you stop playing?" Startled, I turned to find you sitting on a nearby rock, the flicker of a smile on your lips. "Did you like my notes?" I asked shyly. "They were lovely, enchanting. Don't you tease me. I wonder if there is anyone in the world who can appreciate my tunes. Were you playing for others the world?" "No, not at all." "So, when you don't play for anyone, you become very unassuming. This makes you most natural with yourself. This unself consciousness state pleases me, so much so that sometimes I jump out of your heart."
So here again, the important thing is that whenever we sing for Baba, whenever we act for Baba, whenever we speak for Baba, it is not for the audience that we are doing. We are doing it for Baba. Here, because our whole focus, why I'm saying this, because sometimes we get a little waylaid and we feel a little distraught when there is very little crowd. I remember an instance. This was the first time it happened when we were invited to speak at a certain place, and besides Soumya and myself, there was just one person present. Something happened. I don't want to get into the place and what happened, but both of us, we said Baba is present and we have to make the talk. I was supposed to give the talk the way, as if the Baba is there and I have to keep on going. And then for a little while, mind you, even that one person had to go for something, and of course he came back, and then one or two more persons came. So we are not for the crowds. We are not for applause. We are not for a standing ovation. We are doing it all to please Baba. That is the bottom line. We have to understand that. So here the author was playing a flute, and then Beautiful words here. He says, don't, when Baba appreciated the tune, Balnatuji is saying, don't tease me. I wonder if there is anyone in the world who could appreciate my tunes. And Baba says, were you playing for others? The world? He says, no, not at all. Then Baba says, so when you don't play for anyone, you become very unassuming. We become ourselves. We are actually ourselves. We are not play acting. We are exactly what we are, inside out. This makes you most natural with yourself. This unself consciousness, not self consciousness, this unself consciousness, conscious state pleases me. This unself conscious state pleases me so much so that sometimes I jump out of your heart. Baba is always in our heart, so he jumps out of our heart and prakats himself, manifests himself as he is doing all the while.
Wonderful. But to remain unself-conscious is not easy. It is a big problem for me. Those who are centered in me in all your activities unburden their minds. They sleep peacefully at night and wake up totally fresh in the morning. Why don't you do likewise?
Just read this. Those who are centered in me, all the time focusing on Baba, in all their activities, unburden their minds. That is why Baba is so merciful and so compassionate, that he doesn't want us to acquire more and more karmas and samskaras. He wants us to unburden our minds. And one of the easiest, again, ways is to have his constant companionship. Thereby, Baba himself has said, even if some negative thoughts come, vulgar, dirty, filthy, whatever thoughts come, and if my remembrance is there, then those thoughts do not bind you. So mind you, it is how important it is to keep constant companionship of Baba. Good.
But this is like asking me to hold the sky in my fist. I assure you of my help if you decide to strive for it. Do your best. Beware of being unaware of my presence in you. Am I not the center of life?
So beautiful. The construction of sentences are so beautiful, really. Here, Baba always makes us make some effort. Try. Baba says, I assure you of my help. If you decide to strive, we are expected to make an attempt, an effort. If you decide to strive for it, do your best. Always. Baba has given a lot of emphasis on do your best. Even the message called don't worry, be happy. It has a precursor sort of, do your best. Then don't worry, be happy. I will help you. So in other words, he expects us to first do our best and then just leave the rest to Baba. So he says, do your best. And then another beauty of construction, beware of being unaware. Beware of being unaware of my presence in you. In other words, he uses two negatives, In other words, always be aware of my presence in you. I'll repeat. Beware of being unaware of my presence in you. Am I not the center of life? Baba is the center of life. So why can't we constantly be centered in him?
I don't doubt your words, yet I don't feel the certainty of them in my heart. The acceptance of them is only on the intellectual level.
See, he is expressing what we all are going through. At the intellectual level, we accept whatever Baba says. But when it comes to experience, when it comes to feelings, some of us have, some of us don't have, some of us have for some time and then it vanishes. Some of us have for full time. So he is expressing the same thing, that I don't doubt your words. What you're saying, I fully appreciate and accept it intellectually. But when it comes to actually living that life, That is where the difficulty comes.
I am happy with your open confession. This candid attitude will lead you to imbibe the truths I revealed to you. And you quietly looked away.
So he appreciates our honesty and our open attitude, where we have seen it over and over again in Baba's ministry. He would ask somebody, what do you take me to be? But they would say, Baba, I cannot take you to be God. Then Baba would say, okay, then what do you want to take me as? I can take you as a friend. Then if you want to take me as a friend, take me as your best friend. Take me as a friend to whom you can totally rely on and depend on in that way. So Baba has been very, very open about it, that be honest and frank as to what you take him to be.
I gathered that you did not wish to say more on the subject. Turning your gaze on me, you asked softly, will you play again on your flute for me? Feeling extremely self conscious, I shook my head. Sorry, I don't think I could do it now with that same ease in your overpowering presence.
So here Baba is asking the person to play the flute for me. Baba says for me, for him. And he originally he was very unself-conscious. Now he has become so self-conscious that he feels that your presence is so overpowering that I don't think I can do that for you. Here I have a few, I have two episodes to talk about. One is when Baba had gone to Karachi, not Karachi, what is this place? Okay, Karachi, Quetta, originally where Rusi Pop is the father of Dr. Goher and K.T. Irani. And this is one small episode when Baba had gone with the Mandli and somebody served Baba an apple, and Baba, it was cut into a few pieces, and Baba took a piece and took it near K.T.'s mouth and said, eat it. And out of decency, out of respect, whatever it is, she said, no, Baba, it's for you. You eat it. And Baba was furious. Baba said, don't you have any manners? Don't you have any, nobody told you that you should never refuse the Lord? Something like that. She did it out of so-called etiquette, you can say. But Baba was very furious about it. So that is a lesson we need to learn, that when Baba is offering anything to us, we should obey. We should obey. The second, which we all know about Pilamai, we all know or should be knowing, Pilamai was Baba's spiritual sister, and she also lived in Karachi. And when she got to know that Baba would always travel third class, during those times we used to have third class, which was always packed and crowded and all kinds of things, no place to sit and all that. So she made one nice chair, folding chair, stool type of thing, very elegant, which can be easily carried and opened up, and Baba can sit. So she presented it to Baba for carrying it during the train travels. And on that particular travel, Pilamai was also there, and then she presented to Baba, and she opened up and told Baba, please sit on this. And Baba said, no, you sit on it. And Pilamai said, no, how can I sit? I have made it with so much of love, so much of affection, so much of whatever, respect, this, that. And so she again tells Baba, no, Baba, you sit. It is made for you. I am not worthy of sitting on this, whatever. Again, Baba says, no, you. And it happened a few times. And Baba got so furious that he threw the stool or chair, whatever you call it, out of a moving train, out of the door. And she was aghast, and then that is where Baba, again a lesson on obedience. Baba says that this is not obedience. You are more attached to your own emotions about the stool rather than obeying my orders. What is important is to obey my orders and not to be emotionally tied to your own whatever emotions. And we also know about the chappals, when Baba asked who's Vishnu or somebody to take the champal and do some errand, and he bowed down to the champal and walked barefooted, and Baba was again furious. Same thing. He said, Baba, He said, Baba, I'm not worthy of putting on your sandals. They are so pious. They are worth worshipping. How can I? And same thing Baba said, that means this is not love. This is not obedience. This is you are pampering your own emotions about what it is. So all these small episodes make us, it's a learning lesson for all of us, that what Baba expects out of us. Go ahead.
Very casually, you replied, "All right, I came to hear you, but since you don't play, I take my leave." The next moment, you stood up. Instead of casting me a look of displeasure, you gave me a tender glance of love that transfixed me. Then, gracefully, you walked away down the rock, wading through knee deep water onto the beach, and soon you were out of sight. I was charmed by the elegance of your stride. The easy movements of your hands seemed to orchestrate a joyous symphony of your being in tune with everything around you. The sun set behind the hill, scattering splendid hues on the horizon. I picked up my flute. It seemed to be saying to me how foolish you were not to honor his simple request. The truth of this filled my heart with shame and agony. What a pity that I had wanted to maintain my respectable image before you, even before you, that I had wanted to be someone special when you wanted me to be natural. Life should, in fact, be a continuous wiping away of images to please you. To veil oneself with an image is to distance oneself from your intimate, lively presence. How silly that is! But this is what I had done. The flute now rests on my table, and since that evening I have not played it. But whenever I look at it, I hear a song sung in silence. The refrain of it is, "Oh, dear fool, he is the natural one. Be natural with him. Wipe off the images of respectability. The way to please him is not difficult. Just be what you are in naked humility." Perhaps this was the silent message you filled my flute with before you left. Its haunting melody often stirs me and reminds me to shed my images, the veils that keep me from pleasing you.
So here again, I'm reminded of another episode. Again, it is obviously Bombay Center, where Madhusudan Pund, we all know Madhusudan. He was I would say, a court singer in Baba's Darbar, Baba's court, a very beautiful voice. And the lyrics are so profound that he could not write it. It's obviously Baba dictating to him, it seemed like. So once he was there in the center and he was narrating his experiences and all that. And in that he said that there was a time when Baba was there alone and Madhusudan was also there. And so Madhusudan asked Baba a question. Baba, you say I have come not to teach but to awaken. I don't understand that. What is that? And Baba was trying to explain through gestures. There was no one there. So he just couldn't understand what Baba is trying to convey. Little thereafter, somebody came in, maybe Cyrus, maybe anybody, we don't know. I don't remember that. And Baba dictated the same message through that person to Madhusudan. And this is what Madhusudan understood and shared at the Bombay Center. He said that Baba was saying that every one of us wears a nakab. Nakab means a mask, a veil. Everybody wants to present himself or herself in a very presentable, decent way. They are not naked, so to speak. Baba had used the word. So they are not open, they are not themselves, they are always trying to project themselves as who they are not. And Baba says, I am here to remove all those masks. So that was one of the interpretations which, according to Madhusudan ji, Baba informed that I am here to remove all the masks. Now, my interpretation of so many scams, so many frauds, so many things coming to light in these days, perhaps could be the result of Baba just tearing away the veils and tearing away the masks so that that person experiences the opposite of what he has done. In other words, punishment, regret, whatever it is, in this lifetime itself, so that it is not carried forward to the next. This is my personal opinion about it. Now, coming here, what Baba says, what he says is that the moment he said, no, I don't want to play or whatever, because he was feeling very self-conscious in the awesome presence of the beloved, Baba did not condemn him. Baba did not say anything. He just smiled and walked away, But sometimes, it so happens that Baba does not need, I last time once before I had said, Baba does not need to say anything or to express anything. Just walking away out of our presence is sufficient to touch something within us that will make us feel that, oh, what a foolish person I was, that I did something. Last time what I said was that the Baba had just turned the face away from the person when he was expecting Baba to look straight into his eyes and do this or whatever it is. So these were Baba's signs of telling that what you did was not right. But that does not mean that Baba would continue with that feeling in his heart. Immediately the next episode is a totally different episode, and Baba would be most forgiving. Why I'm saying this is most of us, we do not forgive ourselves. But Baba is most forgiving. The moment the time is over, the next thing is a totally new issue, a totally new episode. So here what we are seeing is that life should be, in fact, a continuous wiping away of images to please you. We have to just keep on wiping away all the images that we are carrying when we see people, when we meet people, when we interact with people. And of course, here nothing much to say except that what a pity that I wanted to maintain my respectable image even before you. We want to show a respectable image. That I wanted to be someone special when you wanted me to be natural. So, in other words, Baba always expects us to be most natural in his presence. And one or two instances that come to my mind. One is that there was a person in Baba's Darbar when it could be Guru Prasad, it could be any other Mehrazad hall or something. He could not sit properly on the floor, like what we call as crossed leg, and he was struggling to do this. And the impression that the person had is, how can I stretch my legs outward facing Baba? It would be disrespecting Baba when you face your leg. And immediately Baba noticed that and told that person that, why are you punishing yourself? If you cannot sit properly, you can either sit on a stool or a chair, or you can just stretch out your legs and be comfortable. Because if you are not comfortable, you won't be able to grasp what I'm trying to say, because all your attention would be on your knees or on your whatever part of your legs which are hurting you when you're sitting down. So here again, Baba expects us to be most natural. Another aspect of it was,
Everywhere. Why are you thinking his leg is in my hand?
no, that was a different, yeah. She's prompting me to say that I am everywhere, but wherever direction. That was another story of, I think, Kabir or somebody. Anyway,
No, with Baba.
Okay, with Baba. But that is not the point here. The point here is to be natural. So be natural about it. The other thing we all know, again, this episode about Dr. Harry Kenmore. he had a natural way of saying Baba's prayers. And we all like a bombastic voice, oh Parvatigar, and very forceful voice. And once it so happened, again, I think it was in Guru Prasad, where Dr. Bharucha in, later on confronted him and said that, why are you saying those prayers like this? Why you are saying it in a manner as if you are fighting with Baba? Why can't you be a little more softer in your tone when you say the prayers? So next time when, because most of the time English prayers were being recited by Dr. Harry Kenmore. So Dr. Harry Kenmore recited the prayer in so-called decent manner. O Parvatigar, the preserver and protector of all. And Baba was looking up to him. Obviously, we all know he was a blind chiropractor. So he couldn't see that Baba. And then Baba tucked him and sent a message. Why is it that you are saying the prayers like this? Then he was told to pray in the natural way. So obviously he started praying in his bombastic voice. And then Baba asked later on that, why is it that you are praying like this? And words to the effect, he said that, my being natural is hurting the auditory canal, that means the ear, of some of your disciples. So just in order to please them, I'm saying it in a lower tone. And Baba immediately snapped and said, no, be natural with me. This is natural for you, so you be natural with me. I love you as you are, and I love the prayers as you are residing. So these are the instances where we can make out that Baba expects us to be most natural with him. Any questions? Anything to ask? If it's a big chapter, 1 minute. I wouldn't like to, sorry, you want to say? We still have about 7 minutes more. 8 minutes, sorry. Would you like to sing a song? I don't want to stop it's a little bigger chapter. I don't want to start. Why don't we have some sharing on what we have done just now? If at all somebody wants to share or put in there what we call as 2 bits to say how much it has, what it meant to all of us. Anybody wants to share anything? Otherwise, I'll ask Soumya to sing a song, maybe any song.
Cyrus,
Yes.
Cyrus, I would like to say.
Yeah, please. You want to sing?
Say.
No. But the challenge is.
All right, go ahead.
I just want to say that sometime, in the earlier part of your talk, you said that people ask for approval of Baba, or they ask so that he get the reply. But at that time, he was alive. He
Yes.
was in his physical form.
Yes.
But now he's not. So
Yes.
instead of asking, we just say, we have done our best. Now it is up to you to give us the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because now what to, and we are not, at least I'm not that highly conscious that I will get some ishara or some answer by any other way. So I just leave it to him that I have done whatever I have to for anything, for physical health, for any meetings that I have to attend and some speech that I have to give. So I do my best. And then I tell my children also that you can't expect reply because he's not in life, so what is your take on this?
My take is, first of all, if you say that I am not that high and advanced, Baba would term that as you are expressing your lower self. That means you are lowering yourself. How do you know that you are not high? The question, since you are asking my take, because in a sense we are all high, but we are mixing ourselves with the false I, the body and the mind, and we think that we are not high. Let's put it that way. But before you do whatever you do, when you're saying that I'm discharging my duties, there is a possibility of your just pausing for just a moment and go within yourself and ask yourself what Baba would want you to do. And I'm sure you would get an answer. It's not that you require a certain spiritual stature to know the answer. You will, everybody, I think everyone consults Baba in their own heart to know what one should do. if there is a dilemma, if you don't know whether you should do this or do that, but if you know exactly what you are expected to do, and then what you are doing is the best thing, do your best, put in your best, and leave the results to Baba. That's correct. That's the best way to do it.
That is all you can do.
Right. Absolutely right.
And not only at the time of your predicament, we are all the time thinking of him.
Well, then what more do you?
And so I don't think we should need an answer from him.
Absolutely.
No, but there are people who look for signs. Like even when they're talking, they look for signs and they get it. It's not that they're preconceived, like just the way he said it, they do get signs, and then they feel so anchored in Baba. And that's a stepping stone for them to be more and more focused in living with Baba.
For me, when I get the positive results of what I have prepared for all my children or whatever it is, I feel I got the answer, but it comes a little later, not immediately.
So each one has a different. So I think we could relate because so many people share what they feel. So it was very easy for us to relate. Truly, this is how it must be.
See, we know of people who get signed by way of butterflies. By way of butterfly.
Now I think I have to go, Cyrus. I'll go.
Please,
bye.
You want me to push you? Okay. What I was saying. Okay. Aman, please feel free to go. Please feel free to go.
Because I have another meeting to attend.
Please.
Jai Baba,
Jai Baba. If you want me to help you by pushing, I can do that. All right. So people get signed with butterflies the moment they feel dejected. A butterfly will come and this is Baba. Some people get in the clouds, on the wall, something, a vehicle with a number 33, 22, 66 and all that. And we've come across so many people who do say that this is the sign. And what's wrong in that? But don't be attached to it. Don't be totally dependent upon it. If you feel that we are getting the signals because of that, that's fine. Yes, Vignya. Nimesh.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
So actually, when you said that example about Pilamai, preparing that foldable stool and how Baba. So just thought that whenever Mehra used to make something for Baba, okay, anything, and she would offer it to Baba, Baba never would, take any lesson, or any exam as he did for Pilamai or the others. So does that mean that Baba knew as much as, even Pilamai would not have thought also that with what impression or with what intention she must have made it, it must be beyond her, imagination. And
right.
Baba knew it in those instances, and hence he had to do.
To set an example, you mean?
Pardon?
To set an example for all of us, you mean?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
See, Mehra was totally different. We cannot compare Mehra with the other women only. At the same time, we cannot compare Mehra with Baba. So let's understand she had a special place in the ministry, in the Avtaric ministry, and that we all respect. So that is a different thing. But other than that, now whether these episodes are all pre-planned, because if everything is pre-planned, yes, they were also pre-planned. But suffice to say, they were lessons for us. We had not been so fortunate to be living with Baba like a Mandali. But then because of their so-called mistakes, we are getting to learn how one should conduct oneself in the presence of a master. We may not be searching any other master, but at least we got the lesson. And that's about all I can say. Okay. Is Ram Nori has a question?
Sorry. Do you wonder?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Nimesh, go ahead.
No, I often wonder why there are no such instances in case of Mehra. I just, think that way.
Actually, no, if you read Mehra Meher, which is a compilation by David Fenster, you will see the other picture of Mehra, a totally different picture of Mehra, where so many of her apparent, I'm saying, apparent weaknesses, apparent sluggishness, apparent not so smartness will be highlighted. So what we are seeing is only the apparent positive things, but there were apparent negative aspects also, which Baba would polish and fine
She has
tune
gone through a lot of coaching.
and fine tune through the whole phase. So if you read Mera Mer, there are 3 volumes. Now, of course, the new edition has come with several more photographs and notes, you know. So that will show the in its entirety what was Mehra's role in Baba's ministry. So it is not, as you are saying, you know, it's not that Baba never did that. It is there, but we are not exposed to that aspect of Mehra.
Nobody's exposing it.
We are not.
feel,
We are not.
yeah.
We are not
We
exposed.
are not speaking. When anybody's asked to speak about Mehra, we only put up the positive aspects. Nobody goes into minute details of how much Baba worked on her. Not first Baba, first Upasni Maharaj. How much of training was given to her to live up to be the consort of the avatar. She's gone through a lot. We cannot think of. So, yeah.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Ram,
it's actually I was going to answer his question. You know, I mean,
Please
first
do
of
that.
all,
Please do.
we should, first of all, we should not compare. And it's not, as you said, we only, know the positive aspects of when Mehra offered something, Baba accepted. There are many cases when a Mehra suggested and Baba did not take it. An example would be Mehra did ask, Baba, why don't you give, Jal and Dolly, children? Okay. So there are many, which are
Even
not,
Arnavas and Narimar.
right. So
Right.
it's the
Right.
so
right.
and more than anything else, we should not be comparing. I mean, Mehra is different.
Right.
And if you are going to compare, did everybody else love Baba, the way Mehra had loved him? So no, maybe not. So these sort of things, it's we shouldn't be, I mean, you can ask them, but
Right.
you
Right.
need to take it.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your sharing.
Okay.
All right. So we've touched our 6:30 mark. Okay. Thank you, Baba. Thanks to all of you. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.